Hey guys, it's Time Hawk, Bruce Leroy from The Last Dragon. You're listening to the IT&D Show.
Welcome back. Thank you once again for hanging out with us. This is the one and only IT&D Show. I'm your host, Bob Walton-Spiel, hanging out with co-host, producer extraordinaire, Randy Walker. Guest this week, Josh McDonald's in the house. We're going to be talking all things lawnmowers, cutting grass.
Interesting topic for us. We've had a few lawnmower related articles and guests on before. We had Tom.
Oh, that's right. We did.
From the Lawnmower Gang. We've had Lawn Guru.
Oh, yeah. I remember Lawn. Yeah.
We've had a couple of lawnmower. How would Hank Hill say it if you're a lawn salesman? Lawnmowers and
properties of
properties.
It's demented, sad yet social. He's from RC Motors. Mowers. Did I say motors?
Yeah.
It's mowers. Motors? I did not. I said mowers.
No.
RC Mowers. But the new autonomous lawnmowers, and why Detroit needs it. And actually, it's a cool story, so I'm glad you're here. But you can find us online, itandthed.com. Do us a favor, give us a like on the socials. Subscribe to us everywhere. Fine podcasts are sold.
Next week already is time for our Detroit side meetup. We will be, where are we? Here? No, we're in Royal Oak. We're in Royal Oak.
I'm not going to be there.
Oh, that's right, yeah. Bar Louie, July 16th, 5 p.m. until 8 p.m.
Until you throw us out. No speakers, no cover. Just a bunch of IT folks hanging out. Hopefully in the air conditioning, since it's I walked into the studio today. It's like it was set at 70. I'm like, who's the animal? Like I was like, cold. Yeah, it was that low. Oh. I'm not complaining. Considering I got my DTE bill last month, so I'm like, there it goes up 2 degrees. Yeah, I'm not doing this anymore. Josh, how you doing? Thanks for coming in person.
Thank you. It's great to be here. Excited to talk about lawnmowers.
And so like initially when you guys reached out, I was like, yeah, no, like we're good lawn mowing. I'm like, And then I started looking at the stuff you guys are putting out. And then I'm starting to, then they're like, what, my big thing is what problem you solving?
Yeah.
And you said the highways.
Yeah.
And I was, we were talking before the show, but I remember as a kid, all I wanted to see 2 things as a child. I wanted to see them changing the price at the gas station.
Yeah,
they were before the digital ones.
Right.
I wanted with the suction cups. It was like I needed to see it because how the hell are you changing the numbers? And the other one was how are you cutting the grass on the side of the highway?
Yeah,
like no one's and it brings me back. I don't mean to tell the story, but like it brings me back. My family was all from Germany. My parents, all their cousins and aunts and uncles.
Yeah,
and I went and saw my Uncle Walter, and they lived in like the Black Forest region. It was very hilly, and there was like this 30% decline, and he had a lawnmower and he had a rope. And he would let it down probably 40 yards, 30 yards, and then bring it back up. Guy was 75, absolutely shredded because he did this, once a week.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what we're thinking of. If you drive, like you were talking about the lodge, but like I take 94 here. I've taken 75 down here. Yeah. And Detroit's unique because the highways aren't flat.
Right. A lot of it's below grade, right? It recessed down and the surface streets run over the top of the highways.
So RC mowers, like you guys have those, it almost looks, I'm trying to think, looks like the coolers you drive on at the tailgates. I'm trying to think of like what it looks like.
So, at our core, we're actually a robotics company, right?
Okay.
Founded in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and we specialize in niche categories, right? So we're not making the lawnmowers that you find at Home Depot or, at the local lawn and garden place. This is specialty equipment. It's designed primarily for infrastructure management. So we are basically making machines that go in and do work that can't be done any other way, right?
So I was going to say, how did they do it before?
Yeah. Well, they did it unsafely, right? And
it was just some guy holding on for dear life.
Yeah, the story with the rope, right?
Yeah.
You've got some old timer that's been sitting on a tractor, with weighted tires.
Leaning to the right.
Exactly, yeah. And as we evolve, right? The safety restrictions and safety, the industry that kind of regulates this has said, look, you can't do that anymore, right? And technology has come to a crossroads where we can actually make real commercial products that can solve these problems and keep the operator safe. So we kind of had 2 different product lines. We have our fully autonomous mowers, which we'll talk about here in a minute. But here in Metro Detroit, people who've been driving down the highways have probably seen these red track machines climbing up the side of a hill.
Where would we have seen it? Because I have not seen one yet.
Yeah, there's Just about, well, one of our primary customers in this area is Payne Landscaping, and they manage about 250 miles of highway for the city of Detroit.
Wow.
And he's got, I think he's got 8 of our machines now that he runs. And they are basically cutting anything that's sloped that you see around the city.
Dumbest question I want to ask. Do they go up and down, or do they go sideways?
Well,
I'm just looking. I'm thinking of like a 94, and where it's very slow. And I'm just thinking, what not the easiest way to do it, but like
efficient or safest.
Yeah. It boils down to the terrain you're trying to navigate, right? So the machine doesn't really care. It can climb up to 50 degrees in any direction, right? And most of the stuff around here is in the 30 to 35 degree range. Okay. We're well within the range. So when you're trying to run efficiently, usually you're running horizontally because the rise is shorter than the run, right? So cutting horizontally is the fastest way to get it done.
Do you remember high school geometry?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
But I'm just looking at this from I understand it. Horizontal would probably be more efficient. That's why I said it was a dumb question, because I'm looking at it going, how would I would have programmed to go horizontal. I guess that's a question too.
Yeah.
Are these remote control? Because I know like my buddy bought one for his yard.
Yeah.
He had a couple acres, and he decided to splurge and went. And it's pre-programmed.
Yep.
And you just Ron Popeil it, you set it and forget it.
Sure.
But, do they have ones with like run it like a drone with like a PS5 controller?
Yeah. So the machines that we're talking about here specifically, the slope mowers, are remote control. So there's a human in the loop the entire time, right? You've got an operator.
AI terminology like that, human in the loop. Yeah.
I didn't want to be left out.
Right. Join the club.
So there's someone in full control of that machine at all times. These machines, we're asking them to go into very dynamic environments with steep slopes, aggressive terrain, heavy brush and debris that they're clearing out, in some cases, very sensitive environments like oil refineries or, an Army Corps dam or levee system that's just critical that it gets managed.
Right.
So there's someone in full control of that machine at all times. They're just not on the machine. So it can go into these really hazardous environments, and the operator is standing in a comfortable position, ideally under a shade tree.
Is there cameras on it?
Yeah. We've got cameras that can look out, and there's a monitor on the remote. The control system works up to 1,000 feet away. Okay. There's no latency at all, right? Instant feedback from input on the joystick to movement in the machine, and there's considerable safety features built into these machines too. So in the remote itself, there's a tilt and drop sensor. So if the operator were to slip and fall while they're running the machine, it'll shut down and pull.
Right. For example, yeah. See, I keep going back to, and I know you said it before, like how the hell did this get done before? And if you drove around Detroit your life, I don't think it did get done. Yeah, maybe they would do it for once.
Part of it, yeah.
It was they would solve the problem with labor, right? They would just put 10 guys on a hillside with string trimmers, and they would stand there all day, and they would just swing a string trimmer back and forth. And
that's so annoying. Just tapping to get the more string out.
Yeah. I went through like 5 vinyls like last week. Oh, it's brutal.
Right. And as you can imagine, that is not fun work for anyone to do. And when you look at
prisoners,
the
come on, no, I'm joking. No, I'm kidding. Actually, I'm not kidding.
I work in multiple states, and in some of these states, like West Virginia, for example, they used to use prison labor to do this work, and that was recently deemed unethical, or and they had to stop doing it. So we actually saw an increase in our business because all these municipalities and cities and entities needed to find a different way to get the work done. They couldn't do it that way anymore.
I know you mentioned like before the show, you're talking about like they're like the labor, like because I'm like, why would you? And then you're like labor shortage. I'm like, really? Is it really?
Yeah. I mean, when you look at the Bureau of Labor Statistics over the last 10 years, the number one challenge facing like the green industry space, right? Not just commercial contractors, but public works departments for cities, parks departments, county roads departments. It's labor. They cannot find enough people.
That answers my biggest question, because I was like, if I ran the city, everybody does that. If I was the president, what I mean, type of thing. But I'm like, if I ran the city, I go, God, I'd have somebody just like here weed whipping, or I'd have like, the paint and graffiti. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, so that's like, is it budgets, or is it actual couldn't get people to hire? They would have openings.
The labor force has shifted considerably in this country, and it's just there's not as many people that want to do that work anymore.
It's hard work.
It is. It's difficult work, and it's a low tier entry level job, entry level pay, and it's very difficult to do.
It's I guess it's one thing if you have the go-kart.
Yeah.
That's easy. Not to say it's never easy because you're on the heat, especially
Yeah.
when it's 100 degrees. But like, so what in terms of, all right, so you got one of these,
Yeah.
one of your mowers. What does it like speed wise, efficiency wise?
Mhm.
What is it equivalent to in terms of like one 48-inch go-kart mower
Sure.
and a team of 3? Like when you're doing like labor math,
Yeah.
like what is it? Because these things aren't big. At least when I looked at them online.
They're so
Like speed wise, are they flying? Are they going like? Are they crawling?
they're going. It's a controlled speed, right? There's a couple different settings. Typically, they're mowing in between 4 and 6 miles an hour, right?
Which is fair.
And we have for the slope mowers, we have a 52-inch and a 60-inch version, depending on customer needs. But
Okay.
you're looking at 2.8 acres an hour, roughly, of production. And what that really boils down to, though, is we've actually done some studies, right? Some white papers. We hired a landscape crew. We put them on the side of a bridge embankment, and with string trimmers, and they cut for an hour, right? And then we took one of those guys and we gave him 10 minutes of training on one of these machines, and we let him run that for an hour, and we could get the same work done. Basically, 5 guys. It would, I'm trying to think of the right way to say this.
Yeah,
The machine could do the same work as 5 guys with string trimmers in about 45 minutes, right? So if it took them an hour to cut 300 feet, we'll say this machine could do it in 45 minutes with one person. So that's probably one of the more powerful statements for efficiency that we have.
Yeah.
Is, when you're comparing it to hand work, manual labor, which is just still the way some people get this done, we are incredibly more efficient.
So what would you say are the major differences between your products and commercial or retail products that somebody could buy for their home or,
Well, yeah, I mean, it's going to be durability, primarily, right? The amount of engineering and that goes into creating the product itself is considerable. It's a specialty made machine, right? So we're putting commercial engines with specially designed systems. I don't know how technical you want me to get here with this, but we've got dry sump systems, right, to maintain oil pressure at those extreme angles. We've got multi-stage air filters. We've got heavy gauge steel decks with swinging flail systems, right? So when you hit debris, they deflect off and come back. And those things usually aren't found in
most people's
residential
yards
homes,
are
right?
flat or gently sloping and don't
right.
need.
And they're just cutting grass.
and they're only doing it once, twice a week. They're not doing it, hours a day, every day. So
Right.
okay,
Yeah.
that makes
These are
sense.
running for long, extended periods of time in heat. They're being pushed to their limits. And we're not just, these things don't just cut grass, right? MDOT owns some of our machines, and they do a lot of the easements in between the expressways where it's called Phragmite, right? It's that tall kind of wispy reed grass that grows like 8-9 feet tall.
like in the ditch part.
Yeah. That stuff is a hazard, right? A car goes in there, it can get lost. And
See, I thought that was planted purposefully. It's not.
it's an invasive species.
Really?
In most of the Midwest, it's a Japanese plant or something.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm not an expert
No,
on it, but
I thought it was for like landscape and for aesthetics.
well, and on top of that, the root systems for that vegetation can grow up drainage systems and clog them up. So then the roads flood. It's a mess, and it's a nightmare for them to manage because it grows in wet, like drainage areas. It's very, very difficult to manage. So machines like ours, they can go in there. They've got very low ground pressure. They've got these big tracks that are wide and low, and they'll cut 8-foot tall Phragmite in 3 inches of mud and water. And there's just nothing else out there that can really get it done like that without getting stuck.
Battery, diesel, mix,
Gas powered engines. So
they all gas.
Yeah. Nothing electric from us right now.
Not yet, or
For the commercial side, it's difficult to get electric to give you the run times we need. Right.
I bought a couple Egos for the from the new house. Those batteries, like, have you ever seen an Ego battery?
No.
Like the DeWalt battery, just the
Okay,
drill
yeah.
battery. It's just some small thing. This thing's probably the size of like a kid's shoebox.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's beefy.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Like, I don't even know how, maybe 8 pounds.
Yeah.
If
you were to make something commercial that was supposed to run 7.5, 8 hours a day,
I would say
you'd
probably
have hundreds and hundreds of pounds of battery.
oh my God.
Maybe more. I'm not an expert on this stuff, but it would take a considerable amount of weight. It would change the whole profile of the machine. And it's not quite there yet from a commercial space.
So can you, this is more of a legal question.
Yeah.
Like the autonomous stuff, you always have to have someone watching, right? You can't just let that thing go.
Yeah. There's
'Cause
still,
if it turns evil or if it gets angry,
right. Yeah.
it's gonna,
Skynet reprogrammed
that's a great horror movie idea, like a lawnmower automated that gets
Well, we've already
pissed off and like goes running over people.
There's that old Stephen King movie, Maximum Overdrive.
It's a great movie.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
one of the best.
Yeah.
Which makes zero sense to me.
Yeah.
You've seen that movie, haven't you? Maximum
No.
Overdrive. All the cars like they become
everything,
evil. Everything
yeah.
mechanical becomes evil.
Right.
Oh, have I
So
seen that? That
all these
sounds
people
familiar.
get stuck
It's
in a gas
from the
station,
80s, I think.
and there's like a trailer with like a machine sentry gun on it. They're like, and then all the trucks like
we just park one of those at a gas station.
and all the trucks like the people the sentry gun like forces the people to gas up the trucks. You have to watch it. You know, it didn't age well. Not totally
Yeah.
side. I was like, I've been begging my daughter to watch Last Dragon with me with Timok, Bruce Leroy.
Yeah.
And that does not age well when you're trying to like introduce the younger generation to it. It's a great movie.
We have a clip of him, right? I'll put him as the
Yeah,
drop
it's the
for
first-
the intro of the show.
Very first drop I ever got at
Okay.
the Gibraltar Trade Center, I believe,
geez,
Comic-Con, a long time ago. I digress.
Yeah. No.
But no, like, so going back to the autonomous, like
Yeah. I mean, we're joking, but some people are really worried about autonomy for a number of reasons. So
in public,
Yeah.
like if it's your house, it's one thing. If it screws up,
Right.
nobody really, if this thing screws up and like drives on the road, you know what I mean, causes an accident.
yeah,
You know,
it's a serious,
Right.
a serious problem, right? So we started developing autonomy. It took us about 3 years to get a product that was ready for market, and they're used. It's commercial contractors and public entities, right? Like city parks departments,
Right.
municipalities. So a good example in Nashville, Tennessee, we have a company that runs. They have 4 or 5 of these autonomous mowers, and they cut all the city parks for the city of Nashville. And so they worked with the city, and the city put up signs that said this property is maintained by unmanned vehicles, right? To help, because they were, you can get phone calls, right? People
Sure.
call the police and say this machine is driving
Rogue.
around, right?
Yeah.
But there's when you're running an autonomous machine, if we step back for a second and look at how these work, you're creating a perimeter, right, that the machine operates in, and it is not allowed to leave that space. And if it does, it shuts down and pulls the brake, right? So say something pushes it out of the perimeter, or it's on a slope and it slides down or something, right? It will know and it will shut itself down. There's also an operator that is on the site. So you're not like, it's not a set it and forget it kind of thing, right? You have someone in the area running this machine. We're not
I'm
running
assuming
it, but
multiple.
yes,
'Cause if it's one to watch, then why wouldn't he just do it?
exactly. So the goal, like what's unique about our technology is our ability to scale, right? So one operator can manage 3 or 4 machines, right? So they're going to wear this emergency stop around their neck or on their belt. And these 3 machines,
Tranquilizer gun is it?
it's just a button, right? You can press it, and if something happens, you can just shut everything down. And it has to be within, say, a quarter mile of those machines, right? So they are out, they're doing other work on the site, because autonomy cannot do 100% of the work, right?
Right.
So there's still things that need to be done by a human, and they are doing that work while the machines are doing all the boring, repetitive stuff, right? Just the open mowing. They can strike perfect lines with precision and consistency that you just really can't get from a human.
Yeah.
And the operator is just there to do the other work and occasionally intervene, right? These machines need to be refueled. They need to be moved out of that perimeter and loaded onto a trailer and taken to the next site. So there's someone that is involved with the machines at all times. It's not a 24-inch little plastic pizza box hopping around in your backyard, right? Where if it bumps into something, nothing serious.
I'm
is
thinking
gonna
it's
happen.
the delivery bots in like San Francisco that bring like
Yeah,
DoorDash. You know what I
the
mean?
friendly faces.
The,
and, yeah.
the cooler. That's I
Yeah.
don't know. In my head, I keep thinking
Yeah.
it's that.
No,
Right?
these are pretty industrial machines,
okay.
right? So our autonomous machines
They're
are
angry. I think I did see a picture. One of them look angry.
They're
Not in a bad way.
No, I mean they're full scale, 60-inch. They weigh almost 2,000 pounds. These are
geez.
big machines,
Right.
and they are again designed to do real work, right? So we're not selling these to homeowners or to, there are occasionally some property owners, some higher profile people that buy them, but they've got considerable amount of discretionary income, right? So
what is the technology behind defining the perimeter or mapping, or is it cameras, a physical barrier?
Yeah, so it is a little bit of multiple
dog
things,
fence,
right?
Randy.
So
that's what I was wondering too. Like you bury a line, you set up flags that you keep in between.
What we're doing is we're using. I mean, a lot of the magic comes from an internal navigation system, which is really where a lot of our IP lies, right?
Okay.
And that internal navigation system is fed data from a bunch of different sensors and systems, right? So we've got sensors on the wheels that tell tell how fast the machine's moving and what direction it's moving in. We have GPS satellite connections. We use something called RTK, which is ultra precise GPS. It's fed through cell towers. It's the same technology that's used in farming and ag, right? So it's been around for a long time in that space. Combines and seeders and stuff for farmers drive those straight lines, and we're using that as well. We're accurate within 2 centimeters with these machines. That information along with magnetic compasses, and we're using a LiDAR system, which is basically like laser-based radar, right? So it's looking out, think of like a bubble around 10 feet around the machine.
We were talking last week. I rode my first Waymo, so that was
yeah. Oh yeah, the driverless car. I've seen them in downtown Detroit.
they're training them.
Yeah. As last weekend, I was down and I saw one for the first time. Right. So
A couple of months ago, I pulled up to an intersection and all 3 other directions were Waymo cars meeting at the same intersection. I was like, oh, that's a little scary. They were still drivers.
Did they figure it out?
Because they were still training.
Yeah.
I guess that's another thing. If there's 2 of them, do they talk?
Sort of, right? So the cool thing about the technology we use is it can be scaled. So if you've got one large mow plan and you've got a fleet of these things, one week maybe you bring 2 machines out and you deploy them in that plan and you just set it up and say there's 2 machines today, and they will calculate and stripe all at the same time in the same direction. They will divide the space up.
Thinking of Tron, Randy. That's all.
Exactly.
The razor bikes in Tron.
Yeah,
I understood that reference.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
But, and they will divide the work up so they get done at approximately the same time, right? If you've got 3 machines, it's the same, or 1 machine. So you can have a fleet of these machines and you can move them around. Think of them as another member of the crew, right? And they will talk to each other in the sense that you can allow them to work together inside the same perimeter.
So here's the second dumbest question. How does it discern from cut and non-cut?
Well,
Do you follow what I'm saying? Like if you have 2 of them, it programs the track. I'm just trying to think logistically how these things work. And like the other one's not going to go over the other one's path. So does it like mark like green, like it's like light in its GPS mapping or in whatever internal systems it's using? Like, how does it know when it's good?
Well, it doesn't really look. You can't see that the grass is being cut, but
that has been driven over already once.
Yeah. So basically before they get started, you tell the machine, you tell the mow plan how many machines you have, and then it figures all that out, and then you deploy the machines and they get to work, and they both mow separately, right? Okay. So they don't cross each other's paths at all. They just basically take one plan and divide it into 2.
Right.
But that core plan is saved in the account that the owner of the product, so the plan is the plan, and the number of machines you have that day will determine how the plan is executed. But, they're going to stay away from each other so that they don't create their own false proximity warnings, things like that.
Can we back up to plan creation a little bit again?
Yeah.
Like, how would I define this is what I want done? Do I draw on a map, like a satellite map? Okay.
Yeah. So what you're doing, you're using an app. There's a companion app that's available on Android and Apple. You can run it on tablets or cell phones, whatever you want. And you're going to see a satellite overlay of the space, and you're going to see a perimeter. And when you go to a site for the first time, you're actually going to get on the machine. This looks like a zero turn, right? It's got lap bars and everything. And you're going to drive the perimeter and define that space. And then once that perimeter has been determined, you're going to say it's like a 5-acre park, right? And then if there's anything inside that perimeter that you don't want the machine to interact with, like picnic tables or playground structure or a pond or something, you're going to drive around all of those individual things inside that mow plan and create what we call keep out zones. And then your plan is set, and that is saved in the account. And you can edit it or change it or delete it down the line, but it's there for you to recall every time you go back to that site.
So another third dumb question. I'm just thinking of like a tree.
Yeah.
You just said zero turn.
Yeah.
And in the plan, does it see the tree and kind of take a lap around it, kind of like the people would, like what you would, like how does it navigate?
Well, you're gonna define those keep out zones, right?
Well, it wouldn't be keep out. It would it would have to do like a circle turn around it.
Right. And what you're going to do is you're actually going to physically get on the machine
and do it once.
You're going to do it one time, right? And you're going to identify that as a space that it needs to keep away from. So if you don't do that, it's going to be mowing along, and then it's going to come to this tree, and the LiDAR's going to pick that up as an obstacle, and it's going to stop, right? So it won't know. It'll think that something's there that shouldn't be there. So you have to tell it anything inside the mow plan. It just needs to be aware of its presence, and you're doing that by physically driving the machine around it and creating these little.
So it's not going to mow your dog over,
right? Well, yeah, it'll stop, right? It'll see. We are looking out, right? So if a person were to approach it or an animal, it will stop and it'll shut off the blades, and it will warn the operator via the app, right?
Okay.
You know, I've got a smartwatch, so just like any other app on your phone, you know, it'll come to my watch, it'll come to, you know, haptic feedback in my pocket or whatever.
So if I install a new flower bed or a water feature or something, I have to go and trace around that too to modify the plan? Or
yeah, you can edit the mow plan. You can remove keep out zones or edit them. There are times throughout the year where conditions can change, right? In the spring, if it's a really wet area, there could be standing water, and you just want to keep the machine away from that day, right?
So you talked side of highways, parks.
Yeah.
Like, what am I missing in terms of like other applications that like hard to get to? I'm trying to think of other hard to get to areas, and I'm kind of drawing a blank.
Yeah. Well, you know, around here, right, in Michigan, some other great examples are like landfills, right? GFL runs our machines on landfills north of Cadillac, for example. Consumers Energy runs our machines on hydroelectric facilities.
Well, because that was the thing, like, you know, when Randy brought up, we had mower gang on, and it was a bunch of guys from Birmingham. That's why I used to always make fun of them, just because I'm like, you know, they would come down to the city and cut the parks.
Yeah.
And that was a big problem for a long time. Just to have places that felt safe for people. Is that like, you know, is that on the city's radar to like take care of some of these like vacant properties or unkept parks?
Yeah. We're working. So the city of Louisville has multiple machines from us, and one of them is owned by the code enforcement department, and they go in and they clear out abandoned lots and neglected properties because they can't get a big tractor with a brush hog in here, but the stuff is overgrown. It's nasty. There's debris, there's hazards in there, like biohazards and things, right? Like these are abandoned properties.
Sure.
You can venture a guess at what might be down in there, right? So they use these machines, these track machines. They go in, they can fit through the openings of the fences. They can chew all this debris up and clean out the space. And they don't really have a great way to do it otherwise, right? The alternative is they put guys in there with string trimmers, and they're stepping on stuff they shouldn't be stepping on. And, you know, and so that's absolutely something we use the machines for. But other hazards, you know, think about insects, right? Like ticks and mosquitoes, right? The habitats that they live in, our machines are really good at removing. So school systems, right? The Troy schools,
right?
They use our machines to clear out their retention ponds and other areas, right? Steep banks down next to water. It's very hard to get a manned machine into those areas.
Right.
But they want to keep them clear because they don't want the pests, you know, getting the children sick, and they also don't want kids wandering off into high vegetation where they can't see them, right? So
it's a safety thing.
It's a safety thing, exactly. So that's another kind of form of hazard or application where the slope mowers are really, really effective.
Right.
The problem we solve with autonomy is it's less about environmental hazard and more about the labor challenges, right? It's a force multiplier. You can take a single person and allow them to manage 3 or 4 machines, and it allows you to get more work done. Most of the people we talk to, they're not trying to fire anyone, right? They can't hire enough people
to
grow their business or to maintain the business they have. So instead of putting 4 guys and 4 machines at a park for 4 hours, now you take 1 guy and 4 machines, you put them at the park, maybe still for 4 hours, but those other 3 guys can go somewhere else and do something else at the same time. Right?
How now it's just grass right now. Right now,
Yeah.
I'm just thinking other applications, and I'm thinking of like, hey, I want to clear out these 10 acres and build a subdivision up in Romeo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is it ever going to get to the point where it's doing brush?
I think so, right? We certainly are looking at ways to incorporate autonomy into the slope mower side, like because these are basically like remote control brush hogs that are really good at climbing hills. And but the challenge we have right now, I think, is sensor technology, right? So the sensors have to be able to see when something's there, and we are not the sensors aren't good enough to know whether it's a bush or a dog or a baby,
Tree or a street light.
Right, exactly. So it doesn't know, hey, is it safe to approach this and go around it, or should I stop and wait for this hazard to clear? And I think, if we're going to work AI into this conversation, the one thing where it's probably going to help with autonomy across the industry is we can use optical cameras and AI to help identify not just that there's something there, but what it is and how the machine should behave based on what it's seeing.
Now the first humanoid worked at a BMW plant today, Randy, and that's what I'm envisioning now is a humanoid from an auto plant that's sitting on top of one of these and is driving the lawnmower.
Combine the autonomy.
Yeah.
No, but like what I'm thinking, like just the technology that goes into a humanoid. The cameras, basically
there's
the
tons.
squeeze, like how these things operate. It's
Yep.
I'm not scared of the lawnmowers. I'm scared of the humanoids. So I'm.
Yeah. They're a little bit when they lay down on the ground and they just kind of flip up and that stuff.
We've been hitting too many of them with hockey sticks, and they're gonna get their payback one day.
I love watching those. What is it, Boston Dynamics?
Boston,
right?
yeah.
They got those robots that are like running around on obstacle courses and stuff. I'm like, man. But our machines are a little bit more. Yeah, they're a little bit more tame than that, right? They're designed. They move intentionally. They move purposefully, and they only operate inside those defined.
I'm sure you have YouTube videos. I got now. Like tomorrow, I'm going to be watching like remote control lawnmower videos all day.
Sure. Check us out.
That's what happens.
We got tons of stuff online from our customers as well, and our owners of our products share. I mean, it's cool stuff, right? And that's what's interesting about it is they start conversations, they turn heads. People pull over on the side of the road and just watch this thing work because they're just thrilled with seeing the evolution of this.
No
stuff.
backlash.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, a lot of it is based on misconception, but we get people that say that these robots are taking people's jobs, or
But like you're here and your whole company's here.
Yeah, right. I mean, we're an American-based company. We've got engineers, we've got welders, we've got a whole sales team, we've got a marketing department, and we've got all these things working to create this brand. And that's I think that's what modern. So we have a pretty extensive dealer network, right? So across the U.S. we have 40 or so dealers, mostly municipal dealers, because we sell into a lot of municipal environments. It's primarily infrastructure management.
Right.
So, and here in Michigan, we've got a great company we work with called MTech. They're based in Livonia, but they've got shops and they cover multiple states for us. And they provide all of we don't sell direct, right? So we make the machines, we make the technology, and then we distribute through an authorized dealer.
Sure. IT, most of it's 2-tier distribution,
Yeah, exactly. We can't be everywhere, right?
Right.
We need people who are buying these machines when they go down, they need service quickly, right?
Sure.
So if we're in Green Bay and they're in California, it doesn't make sense for us.
Yeah. So I gotta, I know you got to sell what's on the truck, right? I get that philosophy, but like, what is there anything coming up where like, oh my God, this thing's coming down the pike? It's gonna, this has already changed the game, but I'm already thinking of like, I know when you're talking like AI and cameras and that stuff, but like, is there anything coming down the pike that you're excited about?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to continue to evolve autonomy for sure, right? We see it as the future. Slope mowers, very niche, right? It's it's a category that has limited capacity, but autonomy for commercial mowing is considerably larger piece of the pie, and we're just at the very beginning of that. So, we go to as an OEM, we go to multiple trade shows every year, and one of the bigger ones we go to is the Equip Expo, which is in Louisville, Kentucky. And we'll have a booth there and we'll have some stuff. I can't talk too much about what we have coming down the line, but we're going to have some new products. One thing, we're focused on accessories for the slope mowers.
I was looking for exclusives, Randy. He doesn't give me.
No.
Yeah, well, you should have
Breaking on IT and the D.
Yeah.
If you would have had the owner on, maybe he'd talk to you about
That's fair.
Fair. So, but one of the things we are doing, right, is we are developing like a multi-directional plow, right, for moving snow in the winter.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. You know, a spreader for salt, a sprayer. Right out in California, these machines. California's got hundreds of these machines running to do fire materials mitigation, right? And we are building these big sprayer systems that can mount to the back. They're like 600 pounds, but this machine can climb a hill, and then it's got the ability to spray fire retardant or other liquids. We're developing this now because that's a need that we didn't even think about when we started making slope mowers, right? So,
if you do the snow plowing ones, we'll get rid of the orange stick market. I don't know how many you see those.
Yeah.
My old neighborhood, there are thousands of those things just so people wouldn't run up on the grass or.
Well, and when you're looking at cities, they've got like these trails that are a little too wide for like a push mower, but not wide enough for like a tractor or a truck to drive down. So these machines are really good at getting into those areas, and they're tracked so they don't get stuck. They move snow really, really well. We were waiting to get the machine perfect, to get to a point where we were happy with that technology before we started throwing a bunch of accessories.
I was say they have the commercial ones now. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think if they're 600 or 2600. I can't think of. I know they have like the small, like the autonomous, like snowplows for residential.
Yeah. I've seen them,
and I can't think of like if they were expensive or cheap. I can't remember.
I think they're probably. I really don't know. I could venture a guess. They're probably in like the $4,000 to $7,000 range for like the residential ones.
Oh, yeah,
but
probably
I mean, the good ones will have like a mobile RTK station you set up, so it actually knows.
I did that. I'm buying a 4-wheeler. I'm just saying.
Or you could pay a contractor for probably
for 10 years. Yeah, at least 10 years.
But in a commercial environment, it's a whole different world, right? This works. It's critical. This stuff's got to get done so the public can get to work and people can walk safely on the sidewalk. So it's a different world.
We're kind of, as a consumer, we're finicky like Netflix.
Yeah.
Like, we get all this streaming, this entire library at our fingertips, and then we bitch when there's a glitch, when the internet's not fast enough.
Yeah.
And we're like that now. If it snow's not plowed at 7 a.m. when I pull up to my favorite store, coffee house, I'm stomping my feet. We're spoiled children.
Yeah. No, it's true. And, so I guess that's as close as I can get to an exclusive for you is we've got a bunch of really great accessories coming out for the slope mowers, and we'll be debuting those at the Equip Expo.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, Josh, it's awesome talking to you. Didn't think I would be this intrigued by cutting grass, but it's cool stuff. I can't wait to see one,
it was great to be here. I love talking about this technology. There's so much more we plan to do. And, I'm also I'm proud of Detroit and the work we've done here to make this city what it is today. Cause I grew up here. I was born and raised here. So I've seen the good and the bad, and, in some small part, we're kind of helping to bring life back to the city.
Yeah.
And
you should have a schedule so people can come out and see it. Make it like a drive by the autonomous mower.
I would publish a calendar like, come watch the lawn.
Right.
I would totally go. Are you kidding?
Well,
I'd set up a lawn chair and I would watch it.
Right. Have a cool beverage and watch it work. Yeah.
All right.
Set up a little calci on how long it takes to finish. Or
that's a good call.
Yeah.
1 hour, 2 hours. Yeah, you can get a couple bucks on that. Yeah. All right, Josh, thanks again for coming in. Appreciate it. RC Mowers. Did I do that right this time?
Yes.
USA.com. Be sure to give them a look-see, and I'll look for that calendar to check out one of them on the side of the highway so I can itch that one scratch from when I was a kid. But hey, we're going to wrap things up for this episode of the IT and the D Show. On behalf of Bob and Randy, do us all a favor, drink up your drinks, get your phone numbers. You don't got to go home. You just got to get the hell out of here. See you next week. Drive careful. Beat it.